Hello and welcome back, everybody. This is another episode of the Soul Focused Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Martin Friedman, and I'm joined today again, wonderfully, by our CEO and founder, Ragivah, Mahdi. Hey, Mahdi, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great, Moses. Yeah, I'm calling on Moses today. I'm calling for Teddy Bear Moses,
Teddy
calling
Bear
you out
Moses.
to show up
Yes,
on the
sir.
spot, right? Because the subject matter that has been chosen for today is so essential. I mean, I'm about to burst out of my skin in reality to have this conversation. I feel so privileged to be
Yes,
at
sir.
that point in my own life to be able to share with millions of people the pathway to how to become powerful. Woohoo, shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for saying it, right? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to be powerful, the pathway to being powerful. And I appreciate you calling in our most powerful selves at the very beginning of this. You know, you and I talk a lot about the difference between what we are and who we are. And definitely, you know, Martin and Mahdi are what we are. And Teddy Bear Moses and Ragivah is who we are.
Right.
And I know that it's a lifelong journey for all of us to step into our full power so that we can be powerful, full of power. So let's start talking about it, my friend.
You know, when you told me what you wanted to talk about, I sat with it for a minute because I wanted to feel the beauty of the question. And I wanted to get present to the fact that just to be able to ask the question means the possibility to be that not only exists, but there are millions of people who are acting on it. And it would be unfortunate for you to listen to this podcast, no matter where you are, and not take what we're going to share with you in order for you to walk in your own state of powerfulness. Right. So,
Yes.
like I said, I'm humbled by the question and even more humbled by the fact that I can answer it.
Yes. And I'm excited to hear your answer. And I just want to frame it just a tiny bit more and say, you know, our last two podcasts is what does it mean to be disempowered? What does it mean to be empowered? Right. And I think those were both beautiful conversations. And yet here we are talking about what does it mean to be full of power? And the fact that you come from a humble place. Can I I just want you to say for a minute, what is your definition of humility? Because I think humble and humility is a word that you define very differently than a lot of people listening right now.
No doubt. I think a lot of people use it as the idea that you should be putting yourself down. You should, sort of like bend yourself, bow yourself, that something is greater than you. That's not what I mean when I say I feel humble.
Right.
When I say I feel humble, it means I feel so thankful that I have reached a point to where I am being equal to my own potential. In my mind, being in harmony with my own potential humbles me. If there's anything I'm bowing to my higher self. I'm bowing to the idea that I finally got in touch with my higher self and have surrendered to it. I submit to my higher self. Ragivah is here. So in Ragivah being here, I can answer this question, how to be powerful. Shit. I'm having those feelings, man. Feelings. Shit.
Yeah. Beautiful. Share. All I can think of right now is James Brown saying, "I'm so bad I could kiss myself." So go ahead, kiss yourself, man. Do it. Let's go.
And when people hear this, well, we have a tendency. If you are still in your ego, then the way you are hearing this is going to be problematic.
Right.
Because you're going to be comparing yourself to what I'm saying about myself. And you should not compare yourself to what I'm saying about myself. You should be looking at yourself and finding that higher expression in yourself so you can celebrate and know what it feels like to be humbled by your higher self.
That's right.
But so much of what we do is all out of comparison and competing and proving and all that bullshit that keeps us thinking that something on the outside of us, just one more thing. I just need one more thing. If I get that one more thing, if I achieve that one more thing, then I'm going to be, and it never happens. Tony Robbins says is the emperor's clothes. It shit not even real.
That's right.
It's not even real. It's all make believe. And listen to the terminology. It's make believe. We've made ourselves believe that we need something outside of ourselves to be happy. It's make believe, conditioning.
That's right. That's right. And what you just said, that's literally the manual to how to be disempowered, right? Literally the manual is compare yourself to somebody else.
Yes.
Be in your ego and feel more than or feel less than someone else. And that it's that process of comparison that we hit on in the caterpillar and butterfly podcast, right?
Yes.
Instead of the caterpillar sitting there going, look at that, look at that dude, flapping his wings, right? I hate that guy. He's always flapping around, and here I am, crawling around on this leaf, and he's flapping around. Become the caterpillar and join, right? That's right. The answer. That's what it means to be powerful, right?
Right. The butterfly, of course, is the metaphorical expression of powerful. If you can imagine the monarch butterfly taking flight and soaring above whatever the caterpillar was struggling with, it makes it look like the caterpillar was like, man, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to go through this, because the whole time the butterfly was inside, right? Just waiting to be born, just waiting to come out of the closet, just waiting for an opportunity to show you, not the world, to show you just how big you really are. Right. But you were playing the game of make believe. And here's what being powerless is, or disempowered. Here's how it happens. Make believe you need something outside yourself to be happy. Make believe that. We all have made believe that. We've made believe that a degree it was going to make us happy. We've made believe that if we got married to the right person, we would be happy. We made believe that if we got the right car, we would be happy. We made believe that if we had children, we'd be happy. We made believe that if we had a whole bunch of friends, if we were popular, if we had this title, that title, if we got this job, that position, we'd be happy. And guess what we found out? It was all just temporary.
Right.
It was temporary. And then when that stopped making you happy, you have to go find something else outside yourself to make you happy. And all of those are ingredients for how you become disempowered. How you become powerful is you find the happiness in yourself. And then you demonstrate the audacity to feel good. Because let me say, that's what happiness is. Yeah. Happiness is essentially feeling good right now.
Right.
Feeling good right now. Now, being powerful will be feeling good right now without anything external having anything to do with it.
Okay.
So when I reach that point where I'm able to feel good right now, and I don't need nothing on the outside to bring me into that state, I have reached a point of being powerful. Because think about that for a minute. You are saying to the world, without even trying to say it, I don't need anything outside of me to complete me. I have discovered the truth about myself, and that is I am complete already. So anything that I go after is only for me to experience more of the completeness that I already am. It is not for me to prove I am complete. It is for me to experience the completeness I already possess.
Wow.
And think about that's a different intention. That's a different state of mind. That's a different state. If I'm going out and let's say I'm going to choose a mate, and the mate I choose is not to complete me. The mate I choose is for me to experience more of my own completeness.
Right. That person becomes a reflection back to you so that you can be more complete yourself, like a mirror, like looking into a mirror. And
more off of it. Take more off of it.
Yeah. To become yourself. To become fully
I'm already that. So I could, if there's a more, it would be to experience more of me.
I got you. Fully is probably a better way of saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, fully, because every day we're striving to experience the fullness of our completeness. And there's different levels of it, but it's not like it's less than or greater than. It's like they're just more.
Right. That's right. And, the constant messages. I mean, I'm just feeling this so strongly right now. The constant messages that we got externally that we were not enough, and how much we've internalized that. We talk all the time about 95 to 98% of our subconscious thoughts, but you have to be taught them first externally, right? So we're told over and over and over again that we're not enough. And, we spend a lot of time talking about that in the context of racism, right? That, not only are we not enough, but what we have is never enough. You can never have enough. I'm really feeling strongly right now, just looking at this through the lens of whiteness, and feeling in the lens of whiteness that at its core, whiteness is you can never have enough land, never have enough money, never have enough of anything. And that comes because the people who became white, who weren't white and they became white, something happens to them where they feel like they've had enough. They've had enough for hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years. They've had enough because the nature provided enough. And then something clicks, and they start to feel that they don't have enough, that they're not enough, right? That ego starts to come in and they're not enough. And once they feel like they're not enough, then they turn to the world and say, I'm going to become enough by taking everything of everybody else's.
Yes.
And I'm just feeling that really strongly right now.
That's powerful, Martin, because, Moses. That's powerful because
Yes, sir, Ragivah.
The ego lives in a different world than our true self. Our soul does not live in the same world as our ego. You feel what I mean?
I do.
So when we talk about, for the past maybe 4,000 years, we've been living in a white world. A world based upon, I should say this, a world based upon the notion that some people are better than others. Therefore, there are a whole bunch of people who are not good enough, who have been caught up in this cycle of trying to prove that they are to the very people that said that they weren't. And anybody that tells you that you're not good enough, they already secretly feel like they are not good enough. Exactly. So it creates this whole cycle of people trying to prove what's already proven. We are trying to prove what's already proven. The minute you are born is already proven. In other words, we told a lie, and then we forgot that we told it. And the lie was some human beings are better than others. Some human beings are worth more than others. And that's a lie. And that lie has caused us to exist in a state of disempowerment. So in other words, instead of us focusing on what feels good inside of ourselves, we are constantly focused on what makes us feel bad inside ourselves.
That's right.
I had a quote something I said a while back, and it went viral on Facebook. And the quote was simply this: "What you secretly believe about yourself is the root of all your problems." And I think people responded to that in the way that they did so greatly because they know it's true.
That's right.
See, it's not what we say to other people or how we perform in front of other people, because most of the time that's ego performance. It's what we secretly believe about ourselves that will determine if we are powerful or not. Because if we secretly believe that we're not enough, then we're going to be focused on that thing within ourselves that makes us feel bad. In order to be powerful, you have to learn to focus on what makes you feel good inside yourself. That means you got to have a different view of you than the world gave you.
Right, right.
See, Ragivah is a different view of me than the world gave me. In fact, it is out of this world.
Right.
The Ragivah view of me is out of this world. So when I focus on me, what I focus on inside of me makes me feel good all the time. Even when there's tragedy has struck, even when things are not going, quote unquote, well on the outside, I know that everything is working in my favor. And I focus on that which I am inside of me, which makes me feel good. And I show up powerfully because I am not being moved by the external. I'm moving the external.
Wow. Wow. And you move the external by being right internal.
Yes.
Right? That's how you do it. That's how we do it. Right. Not by forcing any external changes, right? But by growing into who we already are, each of us growing into who we already are.
Isn't that how nature influences everything? Nature don't fight against nothing. And nature is not in a fight with anything. Even how nature is dealing with us with the climate change and all the damage we've done to the environment. Nature is not fighting with us. Nature is going to outgrow us.
That's right.
What we're seeing is nature growing to a place where we can't fuck with it like we've been fucking with it.
That's right.
And that may mean a whole bunch of us gonna die, but the reality is nature is not trying to hurt us. Nature is trying to survive us. And the way nature survives is by outgrowing us. We're gonna be outgrown in a minute. And that's why we have to come into the fullness of ourselves. If not, we're not even gonna be suitable stewards of this planet no more because we haven't been growing. We've been in the ego state, and the ego state is like a baby crying. Even though you lost, you're still crying because you don't want to accept the loss. That's a baby. That's the ego. That is not a soul.
Wow. And, your example of nature really hits me because, there's a saying like, Mother Nature's a bitch, or, don't play with Mother Nature. Right. And we have, turned the idea of nature and the earth into like an angry being, and then feminize it instead of angry woman, right? Like, yeah, like the earth is gonna get us back. But you're saying this is all part of a natural process. And we've been pushing against it and trying to take ownership of something that we can never own, trying to alter something we can never alter.
Right. See, think about what growth is. Growth is a real solution. Let that sink in for a minute. Growth is a real solution. And here's the thing about growth being a real solution. When you outgrow something, you never have to go through it again. But when you have not outgrown it, you find yourself trapped in a cycle of reoccurring, unwanted experiences over and over again. You may go through that for years. And what it's telling you is that you have not outgrown it yet. Because once you outgrow something, you don't go back.
That's hitting me hard.
It's the only real solution there is.
That's hitting me hard.
Yeah, so when you see people talking about they're growing and they have no evidence because they're still going through the same shit over and over again, you haven't grown yet. You've been talking about growth, but there's a difference between talking about growth and being growth.
Right. And a lot of us that work on ourselves, I think, isn't a big part of this, Mahdi, that we look at this through a linear white cultural lens too, like there's an end point to healing, or there's an end point to growth. Just like we talked about before, like there's an end point to being woke. Like somehow we think that we've arrived somewhere. And what I hear you saying is that the only way you know that you've arrived somewhere, or the only way that you know that you've outgrown something, is that thing doesn't ever happen to you again. And I can just speak for myself and probably 99% of the people listening. I remember having conversations with you not that long ago where I said, I can't believe we're here again. You know what I mean? Like, I really thought that, there was stuff that I thought I had outgrown, especially around whiteness, because I put so much time and energy into not, intentionally repeating those patterns. And yet clearly the universe was telling me in that moment, no, you haven't outgrown it. You are back here again. And you're back here again because you haven't done the real work that you have to do to not be here again. That's what I'm hearing you saying. And I'm just feeling it really strongly because I live that. I live that. And I give good advice to people, Mahdi. People come to me, Ragivah. People come to me to get advice because I'm really, really good at it and still growing to a place where I don't keep repeating things that I thought I would never repeat again.
Right. I'm going to tell you something, Moses. I can't tell you how many times I've been born again. I've been born again so many times. And every time I've been born again, it was symbolic of me outgrowing something.
Right.
Right. And, you get to that point to where you go through you stabilize in your growth. And what I mean by stabilize is that you learn in a way habitually to focus on what makes you feel good inside yourself. In other words, you create a view of yourself that gives you goosebumps inside of yourself, and that no matter what happens, you focus on it. That does not mean you live perfectly. What it means is you see yourself as perfect and you stop making yourself a project. See, for years, I was a fucking project that I was constantly working on. And what I didn't realize was I was working on me because the world told me I had to work on me, because the world told me there was something wrong with me. And because the world said there was something wrong with me, I was trying to correct me. And the whole time I was correcting me, I was fucking me up. Excuse my language for those who have a hard time hearing this. But the reality is I just made a mess of myself because I was trying to fix perfection.
Right.
Rather than accepting myself as I was and figuring out how it works so I could enjoy the ride. So for so many years, for 30-something years, I didn't enjoy the ride. Just like I know a lot of you listening right now, you're not enjoying the ride. And the thing is you are the party. You the party, and you the last one enjoying the party. Because why? Because you're trying to fix yourself. You're trying to change yourself. You're trying to be something bigger. You're trying to be something better. Give it all up. Give it up. Just become the full you. Accept the fact that you're complete and whole already. There's nothing for you to go look for outside yourself. It is already you. Your life purpose, let me tell y'all something. Your life purpose is not to become this or that. Your life purpose is to be all of you. You are your purpose, the full expression of you. When you get to that point to where what makes you feel great inside of you is all you see about you, then guess what? Life becomes a party.
So how you become powerful is realizing that you're already full of all the power that you need.
Yes.
And, you know, I want you to, I want to say, and you could say it again too. I want to say it again because I want to make sure people heard you say this. Stop making yourself a project. That was like a left hook to me, to my head. I'm sorry. You know, again, I mean, you know, we're cussing and using violent metaphors, and I apologize. You know, however, this is passion. Like, this is a passionate, emotional subject. Like, we can't just be intellectual and think we're going to have true transformational change for ourselves and for this world. This has to be a passionate endeavor that we are invested in. So we have to stop making ourselves a project. You talked about the ride, right? So we can't enjoy the ride because we're constantly trying to fix the car. Like we're constantly trying to upgrade the car, rework the car, fix the car. We cannot relax into our power. And that's what I'm really hearing you saying, is that this is to be powerful, we have to, it's a process of realization. It's a process of being and not doing.
Yes, it is in being able to enjoy the power you already have.
Right.
See, we have power already. Being powerful is enjoying the power we already have. And when I say enjoy, I'm not just talking about in feeling, but I'm talking about enjoying with the power you already have. What is enjoying with it? Your mind is enjoying with it, aligning, becoming one with it, becoming equal to your own potential. Here's a good way I think we should, in terms of when we talk about we say transformational change. I would say it's more radical to be transformational acceptance. Because there's nothing to change about who you are, but there's some radical transformational acceptance that needs to happen. And until the acceptance happens, we're going to keep treating ourselves like a car that needs to be repaired. We're going to spend most of our time in the repair shop, borrowing somebody else's car, which is a metaphor for trying to live like somebody else thinks we should live. Never enjoying the smooth ride of this unique, one-of-a-kind vehicle that we represent. We need some transformational acceptance.
I like that. I like that a lot. Because that's the only way we're going to get to where all of us want to go, right?
Yes.
We cannot get to where we want to go fighting, doing, fixing, constantly changing, tuning, fine tuning, right? All of that stuff is become distraction to the real process. Because I'm gonna be honest with you too, because the words that came into my mind were like work, the real work, the real task, the real, and This is part of our socialization, is that everything is a job, everything is work, everything is hard, right?
Right.
And I'm hearing you say that the way to be powerful, how to be powerful in this life, is not to be fighting, working, fixing, acting all the time. It's you said a radical transformational acceptance. That's what I heard you say. Radical
Yeah.
transformational process of acceptance.
So think about it this way, Moses. Each and every one of us have our own unique flow, right? So how to
Mm-hmm.
be powerful would be to get in alignment with your flow. Get in
Mm-hmm.
harmony with your flow. Stop trying to adapt somebody else's flow. Stop trying to copy someone else's flow. When you get in your flow, there's no more work to do. It's just flow.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Fall in love with your flow. And when you fall in love with your flow, you're gonna be able to feel the power that already exists in you. Because all you have to do is transformationally accept the power that already exists in yourself. To feel it, to know it, to be able to live it, to walk across the floor like George Jefferson. And when the song The Jeffersons came on, he's dancing across the floor. That looked like to me that confidence of transformational acceptance. I'm accepted myself, baby. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
We did a podcast a little while ago called a to be list for white folks, right? And what I'm hearing right now, this is a to be list for human beings, for all of us, right? This is our to be list.
Yes.
And one of the things I would put on that to be list, Mahdi, Ragivah, is I would put that anytime we hear ourselves using the word self and then negativity, we have to pause, catch ourselves, and realize that we're getting in the way of our being powerful when we do that. I'm thinking about self-hate, self-sabotage. I don't trust myself. Just thinking about, I don't really know myself. Just thinking about all the negativity that we attach to self. And I think part of the to be list that we want folks to come, how to be powerful, the to be list is to start to notice how much we negatively talk ourselves down all the time, constantly, not daily, moment to moment, many of us.
So what that means is that we are constantly focused on what makes us feel bad about ourselves. We have a focus that's like laser beamed on what we believe is not right about ourselves, what we believe is incomplete. And get this, it's a belief, which means it's a condition. It's a conditioning. It is not a reality. It is something that we have been bought into, that we have been sold by the advertisers and the marketers of this world, whether it be religion, whether it be the ones that sell products in the stores. It's every socialization is selling us something. And what we have been sold hook, line, and sinker is that as a human being, we are faulty. And I hear people saying, I got so many faults. Stop saying that bullshit. Because what you're looking at is the way you live, and the way you live can be improved. We can find and we can develop and create new ways of living that becomes more and more in alignment with who we are. But who you are is perfect, because why? There is no other like you. You are an only begotten son or daughter. There's no one to compare you to. Therefore, you are perfect. Transformational acceptance, radical transformation acceptance of the fact that there's no work to do on who you are. The work must be done on what we are, and getting what we are to be in harmony with who we are, such that we feel powerful.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's beautiful, man. That's really beautiful. And I'm looking to my right here in the room that I'm sitting in, and I have 3 sheets of affirmations. And as you were talking, I was looking at those affirmations, right? And it's like the fact that we have a need to affirm, because all affirmations are just affirming our greatness, affirming how powerful we already are. And I mean, I have things up there like, I am and always will be enough. Now, it's wild that here we are, at this point in our lives, me 57 years old, sitting here, and I have to remind myself that I am, always have been, and always will be enough. That's wild, right? It just shows you the number that has been done on us and how all it is. It's the simplest thing in the world, and yet it's been framed as the most difficult, which is just fully coming into acceptance of who we already are.
Right. Let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
Who we are is infinite. It is beyond really describing. We come close as we can based upon the feeling. But who we are is like outside. It's so unlimited in its potential and its power. What we are is whatever exists in our mind is what we are.
Right. That's right.
So one of the most profound steps to take to move toward how to become powerful is you have to take possession of your mind so that you can transform what you think about who you are.
Mm-hmm.
See, what's been failing you has not been who you are, what you are. In other words, what you think about who you are is what's been failing you.
That's right.
This world programmed your mind, and what that means is it took possession of your mind, and it programmed your mind with notions, with narratives, with stories, with lies to have you be disaligned or in conflict with who you already are. Because as long as you're in conflict with who you already are, you will not be able to experience your power. Here you are sitting on top of all this power and using powerless language, using disempowerment language, using and acting like a person who's totally disempowered. Why? Because your mind is not doing what it was designed to do, which is work in harmony with who you are.
That's right. That's right. So, in order to be powerful, we need to be fully in acceptance of who we are. We need to just fully accept. I just love what you said, just a radical process of acceptance, of transformational acceptance. We're gonna close this session out. We're gonna have a part 2, and on the part 2, Ragivah, I want you to, really walk us through. I think there's even more here to like the ways to be, right? The ways to be powerful.
Yes.
And I know that you've worked for a long time on different indicators and different ways of being fully ourselves and in full acceptance. So everything that you just talked about, we have a plan for you if you're out there listening. I want everybody that's listening right now to say, I'm so bad I could kiss myself. I just want you to say that. I want everybody to feel this feeling, because what you just listened to, this is a gift. This is a gift for all of us, from all of us to all of us. This is a gift to know that we are all we need. We're all we need. We have all we need. We are all we need. And, I'm so thankful to you, Ragivah, for sharing this with us today, being present with us, all of our human forms, all of us being infinite spirits in these human forms, that we've gotten to this point that we were able to listen and learn and share with you in this knowledge.
Can I share something right quick?
Please do.
So I was flying to go work with this family in Des Moines, Iowa. And I was, excited about going work with this family. The reason why is because it was an African-American family. I had worked with white families before, but I'd never had an African-American family reach out to me and want me to come and work specifically with their family. So they were flying me out there. And as I'm flying out there, I'm having this conversation with my higher self. And my higher self is saying, now look, you're not flying out there to go teach them anything. Like, well, shit, why am I going out there if I'm not going to teach them anything? And my higher self said to me, Ragivah said to me, the days of teaching people are over. I was like, shit. I was feeling like, well, I don't need to go out there. So what you need to do is go and remind them of who they are. Everything you do needs to be about reminding them that they are what they are trying to become. They already are at the highest point, but they have not accepted themselves yet. And at the moment they accept themselves, they will know their power, and they will know your power because you help them to remember their power. So none of these podcasts are designed to teach you anything. They are designed to remind you of that which you already are. You are not lacking anything. Your mind has been tricked into believing that you lack something, and it's not true. You are about to wake up from your nightmare.
And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And like I say, just want everybody to just pause, just take a moment. Just if you're listening right now, I just want you to take a really deep breath in, take a full and complete deep breath in. And as you take that breath in, just think about who you really are before, during, and after this human experience. Who are you really? And as you breathe out, I want you to breathe into your body permission to be exactly who you are, and to accept and to fully come into your being and your knowing, and to not try to be anybody else ever again. Oh, that's number one. That's number one on the to-be list for today. We want to thank you so much for listening. We want you to listen. We want you to share this episode and every episode that we're doing with everybody that you can, because this is the movement that asks us to be and not to do. And we believe this is the movement that is really going to bring about what we're all looking for in the transformational process.
Yes.
We want you to know we love you. We care about you. We want you to stay safe. We want you to stay well. Please come and check us out at soulfocusedgroup.com. That's our website. You can see everything that we're doing. Join in this journey with us. Listen to our podcast on Spotify and iTunes. And as we say, just share, be part of the movement. More than anything else, we want you to know that we love you, we care about you, and we want you to stay soul focused.
If you wish to support and represent the Soul Focus Group, check out our apparel store at our website, www.soulfocusedgroup.com/shop.